Long before modern borders defined the Middle East, before Rome rose to global power, and centuries before the word nation-state existed, a civilization was born on the Iranian plateau that would shape the course of history. In 550 BCE, a tribal leader named Cyrus the Great unified warring tribes and crushed the Median Kingdom, founding the vast Achaemenid Empire, the world's first superpower. But Persia's greatness did not rest merely on conquest, it was rooted in ideas. The ancient religion of Zoroaster, which emphasized the eternal struggle between truth and falsehood, moral choice and cosmic balance, became the spiritual heart of the empire. Fire temples burned across the land, symbolizing purity and divine order, while rulers claimed not only earthly power but spiritual legitimacy. Centuries before Europe codified moral philosophy, Persia was experimenting with the concept of ethical governance. Cyrus's entry into Babylon in 539 BCE revealed something extraordinary. Instead of punishing the conquered, he restored temples, freed captives, and allowed displaced peoples to return home. A policy recorded on the Cyrus cylinder, and often described as an early charter of human rights. Persia did not suppress diversity. It governed it, weaving a vast tapestry of cultures, languages, and faiths into a single imperial structure. Under Darius the Great, the empire was reorganized into satrapies, provinces with delegated governors, and connected by the Royal Road, a 2,500-kilometer network that enabled messages to travel from heartland to frontier in days, not months. This logistical marvel was among the ancient world's first high-speed communications systems, a precursor to modern postal and transport networks. Persian engineers also pioneered qanats, ingenious underground aqueducts that carried water across arid terrain without evaporation, technology that in some regions still functions today. In combat, Persia combined strategic diversity with innovation. Its legendary immortals maintained a constant core of 10,000 elite soldiers, instantly replacing any loss so their numbers never waned, and cavalry units specialized in swift, coordinated maneuvers. Naval fleets assembled from subject peoples projected Persian power across the Mediterranean. These weren't forces born of brute strength alone. They were embodiments of tactical sophistication. Persia's expansion inevitably brought it into conflict with the Greek city-states. The Greco-Persian wars at Marathon, Thermopylae, and Salamis would be immortalized in Western memory, not merely as battles but as the first great clash between East and West. Though Persia did not permanently conquer Greece, its reach remained immense until the rise of Alexander the Great, who in 330 BCE toppled the Achaemenid dynasty and burned the ceremonial capital of Persepolis. Yet the Persian spirit proved resilient. After Alexander's death, tribes and fractured satrapies coalesced into the Parthian Empire, masters of mounted archery and innovator of the famed Parthian shot, a lethal tactic in which cavalry pretended to flee only to turn mid-stride and rain arrows on pursuing enemies. Their successors, the Sasanian Empire, restored centralized Persian rule, refining heavy cavalry armor and creating formidable cataphract units that became the spine of their military strength. Religion and culture continued to intertwine with Persian political life. Under the Sasanians, Zoroastrianism was further codified in the Avesta, and fire temples served as centers of learning and ritual. Persian scholars advanced science, mathematics, and medicine, establishing institutions like the Academy of Gondashaper, long before similar institutions appeared in medieval Europe. When Islamic forces swept through in the 7th century, the Sasanian state collapsed, yet Persia's civilizational core endured. The Persian language, adapted over centuries, became a medium of poetry, philosophy, and science that influenced vast regions. Under Islamic rule, Persian culture and scholarship flourished, producing poets such as Ferdowsi whose Shahnameh resurrected the tales of kings long gone. Centuries later, in the early 20th century, Persia stood at another crossroads. The world had known the land as Persia, a name derived from the Greek term for Parsa, a central region of the empire, but internally, its people had long referred to their land as Iran, meaning land of the Aryans, a term with roots in ancient inscriptions and early Persian linguistic traditions. In 1935, under Reza Shah, a formal decree requested that foreign nations adopt Iran as the country's official name in diplomatic correspondence, aligning international recognition with indigenous identity and reaffirming cultural sovereignty after centuries of external influence. This change was more than cosmetic. It was a symbolic reclamation of identity and continuity with millennia of Iranian civilization. Today, modern Iran stands in a complex world often dominated by geopolitical narratives. Yet beneath contemporary headlines lies a continuous thread that connects ancient Persia's sophisticated administration, technological innovation, religious philosophy, and military prowess to the identity of a nation that has endured invasions, dynastic upheavals, and centuries of transformation. From Kanets beneath desert sands to the ruins of Persepolis, from the ethical ideals of Zoroastrian fire temples to cities that still echo with Persian poetry, the legacy of Persia lives on, not merely as an empire of the past, but as a civilization whose influence continues to shape culture, thought, and history across the globe.